Well, hello there, and welcome to Kubby TV. You know, yesterday we heard from Dr. David Allen, and I don't know about you, but I find these breakthroughs in cannabinoid medicine and science to be absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, the science, the medicine is all telling us that cannabis is literally the fountain of youth. And as I said, there's real science and medicine to support that now. But today we're going to talk a little differently about things. Dr. Allen has had a very compelling and disturbing personal experience with the drug war. He made the mistake of buying his retirement property after a lifetime of saving lives. He paid in full. And that meant that the property, this 50 acres with this beautiful blue hole on it, was something that the police in his jurisdiction in Mississippi found appealing. Appealing to the point where they decided it should be theirs, and they were willing to frame Dr. Allen in order to get it. So the first thing that Dr. Allen really knew about this was when he was approached in California and told that there was a warrant for his arrest back in Mississippi. And at that point, he was hogtied and thrown in the back of a SUV between the back seat and the rear doors, and he rode like that all the way back to Mississippi. And that was just the beginning of his nightmare, because the police were determined to demonize him and make everyone else believe that he was a demon so that they could get that property. Now, I know that sounds a little difficult to believe. I mean, we don't want to believe that police are that calculating and that they would do something this horrible to a heart surgeon. But these facts have all come out in the public record, and the sheriff is now under indictment for something like 30 felonies. So I've seen the news reports myself. I know that this sheriff has finally been exposed for the horrible things that he's been doing. And I know that Dr. Allen's story is completely authentic. But what's more important, I think, is that Dr. Allen is able to step back and take a look at what's going on and give us a more clinical, analytical view of how this process became so wrong and what can be done to fix it. So let's take a moment now, sit back, relax, and let this man reach you as he's reached me in his very compelling story and his very informative, enlightened view of what needs to be done to correct things. So take it away, Dr. Allen.
I had a practice in Pascagoula, Mississippi, and I left there to start a business in California doing cannabis referrals. And I moved to California, and while I was in California, the Drug Task Force of Pascagoula raided my property in Moss Point, Mississippi, where I lived. It's a large property, it's 50 acres, and about a third of it is fresh water. And it's fairly valuable. I paid for it completely with my earnings from doing cardiac surgery in the community. I saved many people's lives there. I operated on the sheriff and one of the sheriffs and his brother. I operated on police families. I operated on lawyers' families and council members and indigent people living under bridges. I operated day and night, 24 hours a day, and I was on call. and I served the community. But what happened was the drug task force targeted my property for reason of property seizure. And they came on my property based on false information, and they planted false evidence in my case, and I ended up spending 14 months in jail pre-trial, and there were many charges against me, all of them false. And when I did go to trial, the judge threw out 4 of the 6 felony charges as having no basis. The jury found me not guilty. The vote was 11-1 on one charge and 7-5 on the other charge, and so the case was dismissed. And about 9 months later, they gave me my property back. I believe I'm the only person in history ever to receive my property back after police seizure. And they dropped all the charges, and now I have a $551 million lawsuit against the sheriff for false arrest. It became, since my arrest and trial, a lot of information has come out about the sheriff's wrongdoings, and he was just arrested about a week ago with 31 counts, 29 felonies of falsifying evidence in cases and targeting people for political reasons, and a bunch of other charges. And so I feel somewhat vindicated by that, and I believe that hopefully this will prevent others from having to go through what I went through, because when this happens to you, the police try to villainize you, and they try to make you look evil to the public. And they said that I was armed and dangerous, and they tried to villainize me. And they treated me very badly in prison, and had very bad conditions in there. And hopefully when this is over, I will be able to have some effect on the prison system to improve the conditions of prisoners in Mississippi. And so that's one of my goals, is to try to help the prisoners that have been abused by this system. Since all of this has happened to me, I've done a lot of study about the drug war, and there's a lot of information about things, and it's really hard to assimilate all this information and to come to a conclusion of what's really happening to our society. And from my standpoint, I think it kind of boils down to the government has made capturing marijuana users and seizing their property such a priority that they actually give money out to drug task force to do this. And the drug task force are able to seize property before you go to court. So they just make the accusation, they seize your property, and really what this means is you can't really own property in the United States without fear of unjust seizure. And so this law that allows the police to seize the property prior to court conviction is a law against human nature. This law, I believe, corrupted this sheriff. I believe that he started this drug task force probably with good intent, and this ability to seize property gave him powers that were not meant for the Constitution. It was not meant for the police to be the judge and jury in the squad car out in the field. And so it gave this man special powers. And what happened was there was a shooting in the drug task force. And normally a sheriff would have said, oh, it's a shooting, we have to have an internal investigation. But what happened was the sheriff was making money on this drug task force. And he decided it wasn't a good idea to let this knowledge out, and he tried to hide this information. And the truth always comes out. And so when he hid this information, it was clear to others that really what he was doing was highly illegal. And so he's being charged with 31 counts. That is a small portion of the reality of the criminal wrongdoings this man has done. And he attacked me and my family, and he's forever changed my family. And I'm lucky to have survived, and I thank God for my survival. The Byrne grant that allows these sheriffs to start the drug task force, combined with the law that allows the sheriff to seize property, make an irresistible urge for people to lie, to falsify evidence, and to charge people falsely for profit. And so if there was a change in the law where the money from seizures went to some social good like education or anything else, no police officer would risk his job and career to lie in a case where there was no profit motive. So I strongly suggest that all activists urge the people that make these rules to change the law so that these sheriffs aren't tempted by an irresistible urge.
Thank you. This has been Steve Kubby with Kubby TV. I'll see you here tomorrow.
It's the proximity of what I hope to be, the weight so heavy where I stand.